Now we're going to consider how we can get access to the circulation if we're not able to get a needle into a vein. This is something that is actually quite common. For example, if someone has lost a lot of blood or is very cold, you find that the veins at the periphery, in the arms and even the ones in the legs, close, and it's very, very difficult to get a needle into them. In these circumstances, if we need urgent access to the circulation, we go for an intraosseous cannula. Intraosseous is where we put the needle through the bone into the marrow, just underneath the surface of the bone. The marrow has a very rich circulation, and anything that we put into there will very rapidly go into the general circulation. So it's a very good way of being able to get fluids and drugs into someone that we can't get a drip up in. The system I'm going to show you is called the Fast 1 system. And in this system, we put the cannula into the sternum. So that's the bone here, just in the middle of your clavicles and somewhat below it. We use a model for training purposes, and I want you to imagine that this is the patient's sternum, this is their throat, their clavicle and the sternum. We also need a target patch, the gun itself, and the sharps disposal. Since it's so important that we get the cannula in exactly the right place, the target patch has been devised. This curve here fits into the notch that we all have here. I want you to imagine that I am standing at the patient's head. Here is the sternal notch that I pointed out. You take the target patch, and when you turn it over, it clearly says remove 1. So peel off the backing and put your finger into the sternal notch and make sure that the curve of the target patch is at your finger. Then lift it up and remove the second part. We now clearly have this space here, which is where we need to apply the gun. Okay, although this is a fairly frightening looking instrument, these needles round the outside don't go into the patient at all. These are there purely to make sure, A, that there's good purchase. Often if it's trauma and there's a lot of blood, the skin can be quite slippy. And the other thing is also, it will only fire if there is equal pressure on all of the needles. That prevents any misfiring and any operator injury. So you place this in the centre of the target patch, and then it's just a case of firm and steady pressure. And then carefully remove. We have the needle. Take the blue cap off, attach it, and this is just a safety device to prevent it being pulled out. When you have fired the fast, then you need to dispose of it carefully, because obviously it's a sharp. This is provided for you to safely dispose of it. It's a one-off use only.